Hello students, welcome back to the third class of the chapter Reproduction in Organisms. To give you a brief preview of what we have done in our previous class is that we have done most of the asexual modes of reproduction in lower organisms. And in this part, we are going to discuss the vegetative propagation or the asexual mode of reproduction in higher organisms like plants. And it is basically the vegetative propagation. So, what is this vegetative propagation? Vegetative propagation is nothing but an asexual method of plant reproduction that occurs through its leaves, roots, stem, etc. That is the vegetative part of the plant without involving the sexual reproduction of the gametes. This can occur through fragmentation and regeneration of specific vegetative parts of the plant. And this is because they possess a special characteristics called totipotency, that is ability to generate the entire organism from few cells. Now, in flowering plants, the method of this vegetative propagation can be grouped into natural and artificial. The natural method of propagation is the one in which there's a development of new plant from the vegetative part of the mother plant under suitable environmental conditions. This occurs naturally in the plants which either do not produce viable gametes or have lost the ability to reproduce through the sexual reproduction. Now, these vegetative parts may be the stem, leaf, root, or even in some cases the flower. But though it occurs through flowers, it does not involve the sexual fusion or fertilization. Now, let us see some examples of vegetative reproduction. See the slide, students. This is the slide of a sweet potato, where the roots are able to give rise to a new plant. The same type of vegetative reproduction occurs through roots in case of asparagus, dahlia, etc. Vegetative reproduction or propagation, as it is called, can occur through leaves as well. In this method, the buds develop in the margin of the leaves. These buds produce new plants which can be seen as in case of bryophyllum or begonia. These small plantlets are under suitable condition are capable of existing as an individual. They break off from the margin, fall off to the moist ground and continue their life as a new plant. In some cases, the vegetative propagation, as I said, also occurs through floral buds, like in case of agave and oxalis. Refer to the picture here. See, it is the agave flowers which can give rise to a new plant. Similarly, the axillary buds also can give rise to a new plant. Vegetative propagation can occur through different types of stems, like the runners in case of lawn grass, the offsets as found in pistia, stolons and suckers. Suckers are the stems which move through a distance. They have the adventitious nodes and can give rise to a new plant, as in case of a mint plant. Now, the horticulturalists and the farmers have used this unique property of the plants for developing or producing the plant variety of the uniform or common or the same genetic composition. Because farmers cannot take the risk of producing new crops, new plants through sexual reproduction, where the characteristics or the various properties of the plant can get mixed and they might not get the variety which they are longing for. For example, a mango plant or a mango tree which bears very sweet and large sized mango is very much desirable by a farmer, but he cannot take the risk of the sexual reproduction of the seeds of this plant to form the next generations, because he's not sure whether he'll be getting the properties of the sweet mango and the large size of the mango. So it will go for the methods which will give him a sure shot way of obtaining the same genetic lines. And that for that he will adopt the various methods of or artificial methods of vegetative propagation. So what are the artificial methods of vegetative propagation? The methods are developed for artificial vegetative propagation in which some part of the parent organ is utilized for obtaining the new complete plant. Amongst them, the most common methods are cutting, layering and grafting. Cutting. Very commonly we have seen when people go for a morning walk, or the mothers or the ladies go for a morning walk, they find a bougainvillea plant full of flowers, and what they do? They just break off a branch of it, or say China rose branch which bears very colorful flowers of his or her choice. He or she just breaks off that part or a stem of that particular plant and sows it in a good soil, and after some days she or she finds the new plant growing from that cut stem, very commonly observed in our neighborhood. So the cut piece of roots or the stems are planted in moist soil, leading to artificial inducement and the development of adventitious roots. The new plants developed in this way from the roots is a method of propagation in case of lemon and tamarind. The rose, sugarcane, China rose, chrysanthemum plants are developed by cutting that involves stem pieces containing the nodes and internodes. Layering is yet another method of vegetative propagation. In simple layering, a lower branch of the main plant is buried under the soil. It is kept moist for some days, and what we find? The growth of the adventitious roots in that lowered stem which is under the soil. And now this plant can be, or this part of the plant can be detached from the main plant, and this will grow as a new plant. See the figure A in the slide. The second type of layering is mound layering, where many lower branches are covered with the soil at the base of the plant, and roots or adventitious roots develop from each branch, and then these branches are detached from the parent plant and grown as a new individual plant. This is figure B of the slide. Refer to the figure C. This is the guti, or the third type of layering, which is called air layering. Here, a part of the plant or a branch of the plant is covered with soil and hormones and a cloth, and it is kept moist. After a few days, the adventitious roots will develop from this part of the plant, and then it can be easily detached from the parent plant and grown as a new plant. This is employed in the cultivation of rose, lemon, grapes, hibiscus, and jasmine. The last one is grafting. Grafting is practiced in plants which have difficulty in establishing the roots or generally have a very weak root system. In this method, two plants of the same or different kinds are joined together. This is achieved by bringing the tissues of the two plants in the direct contact with each other. As you all know, the meristematic tissues of both the plants will divide and multiply, and eventually the cells of each plant will fuse with the other. Mango, apple, pear, citrus fruits, guava, lychee, and many other fruits. Plants are cultivated by this method, and uniform genetic traits are maintained. So what is done in this particular method? We take two plants, one whose root system is to be used and another whose shoot system is to be used. The plant whose root system is to be used is known as the stalk, and cut portion of the plant whose shoot system is to be used is called scion. They are brought together, and some hormones are provided, and they are winded toughly by a cloth or rope or whatever, and it's waxed and kept for some time. After some time, it will be seen that the two plants fuse together to form a single plant. In this way, the vegetative propagation of plants is maintained. And what are the advantages of these plants? As I said, the plants which have lost their ability to reproduce by sexual reproduction can be grown in this method. This is a faster method of growing the plants because you do not need to grow the plant right from the seed time. So the plant is already of a certain height, of a certain age. Hence, flowering and fruiting is earlier. But the most important being, they are genetically identical to their parent plant, which maintains the same characteristics in the parent and the offspring plant. So, this is about the vegetative propagation in plants. Thank you.